let's get right into it. So, no Clint or Tracy this episode. Very disappointed life after lockup. But I think episode 3 is going to be Clint and Tracy heavy, so that's probably why we didn't get any of them this episode. Because there's no, MF and crack on this episode, I didn't feel like there was a lot going on. I still feel like we're building the stories for some of the main cast members, so there wasn't like a lot going on with people that, no shade, that I'm like really interested in. Because let's be honest, we're here for Sarah, Michael, and Meghan, and Clint and Tracy. Every other person is just like, we're glad you're on the show, but you're not as messy as these people, so we really don't care. Lacey and Shane gave me a little bit, but there wasn't a lot this episode for me. So I don't think this review will be long, but I always say that and they end up being 40 minutes, so we will see. Lacey and Shane. Lacey and Shane have finally moved into their new home. Is it me, or did they move into the same damn home with just a little bit more square footage? Because I was just like, did y'all just turn the trick around and move back into the same home? Because this doesn't look different. Aside from the kitchen, it didn't really look like a different home to me. It looks a lot bigger, and it definitely looks like an upgrade inside. But outside, it's the same home. Now let's talk about how Lacey and Shane brought the ghetto to this nice new neighborhood. So Shane, who has been drinking since earlier that morning when they started moving, is now drunk out of his mind. He is getting into arguments with Lacey because he found out that Lacey has been talking to John. Now he's like in front of their home screaming at Lacey, just being all types of drunk, loud, ghetto, and ignorant. Like they ain't got no backyard where they can do all of this. He decides to do it in front of the home, into the new home that they just moved in, to this new neighborhood. Did you guys see there was a guy? That neighbor was me, okay? Because there was a guy who, I guess he was walking and he stopped everything he was doing and just started watching this fight in front of their home. I was just like, guys, this is your first day. You're not even fully moved in, and you guys are already having like a drunken argument. Day one. I guarantee you, if you guys are not homeowners, let me tell you something. If I was a homeowner and I was your neighbor, I would be calling HOA. I don't know who you got moving in here, but the price of my home is about to drop. So I'm gonna need you to get some new residents. So Lacey is being Lacey, just nasty, not really respecting Shane, who was not only drunk, he's also your husband, right? He's your husband, and you're texting your ex that he didn't found out about, so he feels some sort of way. He's also intoxicated, so he's out of his mind. He throws a beer at their stainless steel double door fridge. I was just like, you know what? You two do not strike me as homeowners. So if you are renting, you ain't never getting that deposit back, because if this is day one and Shane has already damaged the fridge, what that house gonna look like a year later? Knowing them two, that house is going to be raggedy. You ain't never getting that security deposit back if you make it to the end of your lease. Because day one, y'all starting off with fireworks. I don't even know if y'all gonna last in that home. And you know what? I feel bad for Shane. I do. I really, really do, because he's a young guy. You know what I mean? He has this older woman who was very manipulative and playing with his heart. You know what I mean? If he's watched last season, he saw how Lacey played him and John. Now he's in his full-blown marriage with this woman. He thinks that this is like his wife. So he just expects her to walk away from her past and not be still engaging with a guy that she's been in love with for a very long time, since she was a very young girl. So he's thinking all that is over. He comes out and he finds out that she's talking to him, and she's been sneak talking to him. And he's rightfully pissed off, right? But I just don't think that he has the mental capacity to deal with Lacey and all of her mess. I feel like this young guy just needs to be single and needs to be properly acclimated back into society. I also think he does not yet know how to partake in free citizen liquor. I think he's been drinking that prison hooch for a very long time. The level of alcohol is not the same. So this free citizen alcohol done got him twisted, and he don't realize how much he cannot take, because he was lit. He was lit and just very out of his mind. I felt for Lacey. I really, really did, because she a mess, right? But don't nobody deserve no deranged partner. Draya and Lamar. So listen, Draya has always talked about how dangerous Los Angeles is. I don't believe that Los Angeles is dangerous. I live in LA, you know what I mean? I live in a nice part, okay? Bougie. I pay a pretty penny for it though, so Lord, pray for me. Watch them commercials. Since we're here, watch my commercials all the way through. My rent is expensive. Anyway, I just think that where they live, that neighborhood where they live, it's just not safe. Because let me tell you something. I've seen LA hoods, right? I'm from Philly. LA hoods is nothing like what I've seen. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, I remember one time my friend was, we went to the Magic Johnson Theater and they were just like, oh my goodness, we got to ride through the hood. So, you know, don't freak out. When we were driving through the hood, I was like, this is a hood? It's a 1-story ranch house with a front porch and a driveway with a garage. This is what y'all consider the hood in LA? And I've seen some, you know, rougher areas, right? But I'm just saying an LA hood is still pretty nice. But I think where they live, it's just not safe. It's a really violent area. And I think that Andrea just generalizes all of LA because that's all she knows. And especially for somebody who's coming from Utah to come to this very dangerous neighborhood, of course that would jade your, you know, mindset of, you know, the place in which you live now, right? So I do think that her opinions are valid. I just think that she doesn't know all of LA to make such a blanket statement. But where Lamar does live is dangerous. Because let's just think about it. His cousin, or I think his brother or whatever, just got like shot up when he was sitting on his porch. Who is randomly shooting up 40-year-olds? You know what I mean? I'm like, that neighborhood is definitely dangerous, but I don't think that Utah is the move. LA, this neighborhood in LA is not the way for this family, but Utah is not the move for this family, specifically for Lamar. He cannot survive in that place. Utah is just not for that man. He will go crazy. Utah ain't for me. Utah ain't for a lot of people. So I understand. And you want to keep your child with her father. I also feel like, you know, Andrea needs to stay in LA and maybe move to a safer part of Los Angeles, but keep her kids around the Black community because that daughter needs to be around young Black girls because these struggle rehab wigs that this young child is wearing every damn episode. I'm just like, Andrea, why aren't you taking her to the sister that's doing your weaves? Somebody need to help this child. She is too young to be walking around with her hair like this. These are very formative years for her. So she needs to be around some young Black girls who can show her how to properly do the baby hair with the brown gel, not the white gel, because it look like you got dandruff on your scalp. Who can tell her how to oil her wig so that it don't look stringy. You can't use olive oil with this wig, honey. You need to get some coconut, some castor oil. A nice light oil to sit on the hair because the wig is sitting up high and it's sitting up raggedy. She needs to be around some young Black girls. Your son needs to be around some young Black boys, specifically before he goes on this mission. I was just like, you sending that Black child? I ain't gonna talk about nobody's religion, but I'm just like, Andrea, I don't feel like you preparing these Black kids for the world properly, just my opinion. Lamar is trying to break into the rap game at 43? This is Jay-Z's fault. He keeps on giving these rappers hope. Jay-Z is a billionaire, guys, a billionaire. And he started way before he was 43. Lamar, you better go get a job at Ralph's. Speaking of getting a job, Brittany and Marcelino. So Marcelino wants to have like this traditional home, this old outdated traditional home where Brittany stays home with the kids, especially since she's pregnant. He wants her to be this stay-at-home wife while he goes out and try to make some living gambling. And Brittany is just like, listen, I've always worked. I will work while I'm pregnant because we need some money coming into this house. And Marcelino is just like, oh no, I'm gonna bring money in. And she's just like, yeah, you will when you win, but you haven't won anything. So he's blowing all their money playing poker, trying to be like this professional poker player, which is very realistic in Las Vegas, right? But he's obviously not that good at it yet. So they're not making any money. And Brittany is freaking out because they got a kid on the way, which makes sense. And she's like, I know you want this traditional home, but you ain't bringing in no money. And we got a baby on the way and we already got 2 kids. I'll go out and I'll make my own damn money. Marcelino's just like, oh no, I got it. And she was like, well, you got to get a job because this poker stuff ain't working out right now. So then Marcelino in his confessional is acting like he's too good to get a job. Marcelino has this overinflated sense of reality and sense of self. It's actually mesmerizing because this dude just thinks that he is God's gift to women and now he is God's gift to the workplace. He lists off his experience, right? Which today ain't a lot, but I will say this. I feel like the recruiter that he went to was doing the most. Because let me tell you something. I've worked for recruiting companies on both sides. I've been the worker and I've also been the employer, right? As long as you know how to answer a phone, you are a viable candidate. Some people just want somebody to come in and work for 2 weeks or 4 months while somebody's out on maternity or sick leave. You know what I mean? So it's not really that big of a deal, especially if you're a man. They want you to work in these very physical kind of jobs, and you don't need that much of an education or that much experience. The recruiter, in my opinion, was doing the most. I'm just like, really? Marcelino needs to have all these things. He damn near needs to have a master's degree to work in a stock room? Because let's be real, that's where he's going to go, especially with not a lot of experience. They're probably going to have him running or managing a stock room, which is still a lot of money, but it doesn't require a lot of experience or education. So to me, I felt like this recruiter was probably doing the most for the cameras, because the way he was going on about all these things that Marcelino didn't have and how he didn't really qualify. This dude was in the military. A stock room will take him. I mean, he's not going to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, but somebody's going to have him work in their stock room or in their mail room or doing some kind of physical labor. He's the perfect candidate for that. So yes, Marcelino was doing the most, but so was the recruiter. Asking that man all them questions like he really needs a college degree to work in a call center. Please. I've worked in a call center with felons. Angela and Tony. This episode was way too much Angela and Tony. I was just like, this storyline isn't interesting enough to give us 2 full episodes of Angela and Tony. You know what? I just thought about it. Maybe they're giving us all of this Angela and Tony because they're probably going to wrap up a bit earlier in the season. Maybe that's what's happening. I hope so. Can we talk about how Angela burned all of Tony's possessions? Like, she kept on saying it. This is all he owns. I burned all of his possessions. And when we looked into the fire, it just looked like he had a bunch of diaries. I'm like, this 34-year-old man, all he had in his possessions was like multiple diaries. That's it. I didn't see no clothes. I didn't see no jewelry, nothing. Just a bunch of diaries. Also, bravo to Tony, because he was doing the most, like trying to get Angela, like trying to convince her to get him to stay, because Angela goes into her trailer, slams the door, and locks him out. You're not coming in here, Tony. Go away. I don't want you in here. And Tony is trying his best, right? But you can tell he don't care about this woman, because he's trying his best to emote. He's just like, I love you. Oh, work on me. But like, no tears are coming out. You can't you cannot feel anything from this dude. You can tell that he's like faking, trying to make himself feel something so that Angela could feel sympathy for him and let him in. And finally, he dropped the facade and was just like, yo, I'm paroled here, so I have to stay. He just gave it all up. He said, I'm not going to do the acting no more, girl. I ain't got nowhere else to go. I'm paroled here, so I have to stay here. Period. Like, my man let the whole I love Angela charade die. He let that go. And he was just like, I ain't got nowhere else to go, so let me in. And Angela was putting on this charade too. Like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to let you in. How could you? How dare you? Giving us all this pomp and circumstance, knowing good and well when them cameras left, she let that man back into her trailer. And when I say trailer, I'm talking about her vagina. Meghan, Michael, and Sarah, y'all. Somebody on Twitter said that Michael's hair ain't been right since he got out of prison. And baby, when I tell you I hollered. Because it's so true. Michael was on his live lying about that he is the one that braids his hair. Let me tell you something. Michael, when he was in prison, he was sitting between some grown man's legs, getting his hair braided to the back like a toddler. And ever since he left prison, his hair ain't been right. He need to go back to prison and make some appointments with that prison hair braider and get his hair right. Ain't no shame in your game, bro. You not gay for getting your lineup right done by somebody in prison. You just want to keep this machismo up thing because you don't want us to know that you was sitting between some grown man's legs while he was corn rolling your hair. It is what it is. Women do the same thing. We be all in between strangers' legs getting our hair braided. The ghetto. Let's talk about Meghan's dad, also known as Bishop T.D. Jakes. I like this guy, right? I like this father because he loves his daughter. He knows his daughter is making a dumb decision, but he lets her be an adult. But he also lets Michael know that he can see him, and he sees right through the game, because I love when he set the both of them down. He was basically calling them both dummies. He was talking to Meghan, and he was just like, this man has kids. He done lied to you and told you that he was married. And then he looked at Michael, and he was like, oh, do you have any other baby mamas out there? Any more surprises? Michael paused, and he was like, no, I ain't got no kids nowhere else. There ain't no more surprises. I'm telling you guys, I really think that lady that he was talking to on the phone when he was driving over to Meghan's house, the one he was just like, just some chick, just some lady that called at the wrong time, whoever that girl was, I feel like that's another baby mother. Oh my gosh. Sarah's going to lose it. Sarah's going to lose it if Michael got kids out there by another broad. And knowing how trifling Michael is, them kids is probably the same age. The same age. The chick is probably pregnant, or she got, 2 kids that are Michael's, or that are about the same age as Michael and Sarah's daughter, or a little bit older. I would not put it past him. If Michael got another baby mama, this show deserves all the Emmys. All the Emmys. How the hell did you find these people? Chow, I can't wait for that episode. Who is it? Which one of you life and love after lockup stands is sending Michael money? So Sarah gets her phone bill, and she's sitting there talking to Emmy. First of all, Emmy got her guns out. She never misses a moment to run and save Sarah from Michael and his mess. At some point, Emmy, you have to just let Sarah know that you're, the best husband and father these kids have ever experienced. Because I'm sitting here watching Emmy just like, listen to Sarah, give her advice. And I'm just like, this is the husband you've been praying for, Sarah. I feel like at some point we got to talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is that Emmy is your husband and your kid's father. Like, this is the role that she has been playing. When are you just going to acknowledge her and say, you know what? Let's make it official. So anyway, Sarah is talking to Emmy about Michael and his cheating ways again, and she brings up the phone bill that she pays for, the phone that she pays for Michael, and she sees that he's getting cash apps from various women. And I think it's you guys. I think it's Stans and like all them fans of Michael or whatever. I think y'all are sending this dude money. Over $1,000 a month is what he is getting. And according to Sarah, it's all going to him and not his kids. Because she's just like, I'm not getting no money. So Sarah is not only taking care of herself, she's taking care of her children, and she's also taking care of Michael. She pays his phone bill, she pays his car, and she also pays his health insurance. Where do you work? I haven't seen Sarah go to one job, so I'm thinking that she's on public assistance. So at the end of the day, we, the taxpayers, are taking care of Sarah, Michael, and their family. Why am I not surprised? Also, Sarah, sis, you're going to have to realize that you're being a dummy. You really, really do. You have to realize that this situation is preventable. You do not have to be in this situation with Michael. I'm only saying this because she's talking about the women, men, children, whoever, are sending Michael these cash apps, and she's just like, oh, he talking to these hoes, and I got these hoes numbers, and I got these hoes information. Are they really hoes? Your husband's a hoe. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be here, but you continue to take care of this man and blame the people that he is cheating with, and not just saying, you know what, I'm being a dummy by supporting this. I'm being a dummy by going after the women that he's cheating on me with and not going after him. I think it's because she's still in love with this guy. I feel like maybe Michael was her first love. And I think it's very hard for her to move on from him because he's probably her first everything. You know what I mean? Her first love, first husband, he's the father of her children. She has a lot of love and attachment to this man. I think that Michael is familiar for her, but he's not healthy for her. And I don't think that she can see it because she's so emotionally wrapped up. She's also doing that woman thing where, especially when a woman has children with a man, no matter how awful he is, she's always trying to save the marriage or save the relationship because she wants to keep her family together. Although this man is doing everything to destroy their family, she's still just like, he's the father of my children. I have to make it work so that my kids can have their father in the home. And it's just like, girl, your kids don't need to see you being mentally, verbally, and physically abused by their father. It's a much healthier environment if they don't see you crying over him every day. It's healthier for them to see their mother going about her life, dipping it and doing it and picking up the pieces and moving forward, regardless of if this man is in your lives or not. It's a lot better for them to see you healthy than to see you destroyed by their father. So I'm hoping that, I don't know if she's going to do it this season, but girl, you need to see this dude ain't good for you. But to be honest with you guys, I think she's going to keep on doing what she's been doing. She's madly in love with this dude. She's obsessed with this dude. He is familiar to her. He is somebody who has been in our life for a very long time. She's also somebody who doesn't have her parents in her life. I think she lost both of her parents, and I think she is just latched on to this man no matter how awful he is to her. I don't see her leaving him. He went on national TV and said he wanted a divorce. She's still calling this dude her husband. You know what I mean? He's openly dating somebody else on a TV show, and she is still being faithful to him, trying to make this relationship work. And girl, I'm very afraid for you because I feel like Sarah got about 2 more kids in her from Michael. I'm telling y'all, she is in a really bad cycle, and I don't think she's going to get out of it for a very long time. I feel like Sarah is going to be a good 37. Finally would just be like, you know what? I want better for myself, and I'm going to move on. But she going to be about 7 kids deep before that because Michael don't use protection. The fact that Meghan isn't pregnant, I think it's probably because she got an IUD. If she didn't have no birth control, she would be pregnant right now by that man. Anyway, that's it for me in this episode. What did you guys think of this episode? Let us just know in the comment section below. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you probably Friday night or Saturday morning for the following episode of Love After Lockup. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. See you soon and love you much. Bye.